Ash?
Yes.
Where are you going?
I'm going to see my husband.
We have a deadline and everybody's working overtime. We need you now.
Okay. Sorry.
Hey, look at this, girl. You're really blowing up. You got so many likes. You're all over the place.
Are you serious?
Yes, you got it. You got the whole thing.
Oh my
I
God.
love it. You
Comments
want
too?
Every bit.
Really?
Beautiful
Oh,
comments.
wow.
Oh my
I want
God,
to see what
it's
they
fantastic.
say. Can you show me?
Yes.
Oh, you know what? I gotta look at this later, Myrtle. I gotta get somewhere. Bye. I'll see you later. Thank you.
Ash! Oh my God! I got tickets to that musical we were wanting to see.
Have you seen
Yeah. No! I got him! Really? I did. Tonight! Yeah! No, God! We have to leave now. Come on.
I can't go now.
Why?
I gotta go see Cliff. I love you though. Bye, Michael. Have fun without me.
Cliff?
That was lovely. But I'm on my way to see my husband.
Anybody hear all the calls I got about that this week? Well, I'll get into that in my talk. First, the joke of the week. Guy calls his mom and says, "Mom, I'm getting married. I want you to meet my wife, but just for the fun of it, let me bring over 3 women and you get to and see if you can pick out which one is my wife." So the mom agrees. Next day, guy comes over with 3 beautiful women, sits them on the couch, and the mom immediately says, "One in the middle." And the guy goes, "Wow, that's amazing. How did you do that?" "I didn't like her." Receptivity prayer. I am open to the evolution of my soul. My mind is alert. My heart is receptive. The next steps is here and now. And so it is. Thank you, Diana. What matters most? Oh, before I go forward, I want to tell you we're doing this one a little different. I'm going to talk shorter, and at the end, I'm going to open up the floor for questions and comments. So you guys are going to get to participate in this if you want to. So I just want you to know that, so as you're listening to this, if something comes up for you that you want to talk about, you can. And that's what's going to happen. So we're going to get to that part, but first I'm going to talk for a little bit about what matters most. I came up with this talk title because my stepmom died. And nothing gets you clear about what matters most than somebody dying, or you almost dying. That gets you real clear fast. And so I started thinking about what matters most. And you know, there's a lot of research been done with near-death experience where people, when they come back and they're asked, "What were you thinking about at your moment of death?" 98% talk about love. You know, talk about they wish they were closer to the family, they wish they were showed more love, had more love in their lives, and very few talk about work and accomplishment and those kinds of things. And so when I first started thinking about this talk title, that's where I was headed, was, you know, this is what matters most is love. And then I thought, you know, actually, that isn't always the case. That we can get caught up in what others think matters most and lose what matters most for ourselves. That what really matters most is whatever you think matters most. Whatever you feel matters most, not based on any survey or research or what anybody else has done. One of my favorite last line quotes is by Renoir, who on his deathbed, his last words were, "What a shame, just as I'm beginning to show promise." He wasn't talking about his family or his kids. Does that make him wrong? No. So love is whatever it is for us in that moment that we are there. And the thing that I noticed when I started looking at this for my own life is that what has matters most keeps shifting. It doesn't even stay the same. It's true, I used to care a lot about accomplishment, and in some ways, you might think of mastery as accomplishment, and so in some ways, I still do hold that very high on my list, that I really want to master a level of consciousness where I come forth and know the truth and am able to walk in it every day, no matter what the circumstance happens. That actually matters a lot to me. That may not to you. But you got to decide that for yourself. And I encourage you to do so, not get caught up in some other thought of what somebody else thinks is important, but really take the time to look at yourself to see what's important for you, because it may be very different. Now, what's true is, right, we're all one. But what's not true is that we all express as one. We actually all express very uniquely. But it's easy to get caught up in the race consciousness or, the mentality of what's moving along to go, yeah, I need to go along with that, and lose yourself in that. I know that I've done that. So I know that it happens. At least it has for me. Anybody else ever have that happen where they kind of went along with the crowd because they thought they should? Am I the only one here? All right. Just checking. So a crowd mentality can pull us along. We want to fit in. And yet, this is the exact place where misfits come, who don't fit in. And I love that. I love that we come together as a group of misfits who get to be our unique selves and express ourselves any way we particularly want to in the world in any way that comes to us to do so. Expressing what matters most. If you are expressing what matters most, you are expressing love. Whether it be towards a cat, or towards your art, or towards a project, or towards an ideal, it doesn't matter. If it's what matters to you most, you will infuse that thing that you are caring about with love. I was talking to my stepsister the other day as she plans the memorial for my stepmom, and she was really my stepmom had a horse-related accident very early on in life in her 30s, broke her back. And my stepsister became one of the major caretakers for the past 40 years. And what she said to me when I spoke to her is that now that she has nothing to give back to, the way she gave back to her mom, she wants to find something else that she can give back and be of service to the society. And I said to her, don't be so fast. Don't be so quick. Of course you can give back. But it's much nicer when you give back through something you actually love doing. And I wasn't saying to her she didn't love giving to her mom. Of course she did. But there was a lot of obligation attached to that as well, which she admitted. Now she really has the opportunity to give through something that is not obligation related, that is fully infused with what she wants to bring forth in love in life. And she got very excited about that idea. And I hope that you do too. That what giving back to life is about is what we want to infuse with love. You know, it has this whole feeling to it when we do that. It's so much more fun. I come here and I do this on Sundays and I'm here all week because it's fun. And I get to give back in that. There's power there. When we infuse something with love and we feel it on that level, there's power. And in that power and presence, what we bring to life shows up in a way that we would have never expected. I know that's true for me, that what keeps happening for me is I keep having these miracles occur. One of the things that's really important for me, jump the thought there. Let me finish that thought first. My wife keeps pointing out to me that I jump thoughts a lot before I finish the one I'm talking about. Infusing power and love and presence into how we give brings forth something in life that is beyond what we could have imagined every single time. So being of service to life is great. Being of service to others is fantastic. But doing it in the place in which you love the most is amazing. And that's what we want to bring. As we sit in the divine, as we feel our essence, as we feel what is so for us, when we're bringing it forth, there's a feeling, I tell you, I have moments where I just bust out crying from being so happy about how I get to contribute. And that is what I want to encourage in you, to find that place where you feel completely accepted, where you feel so appreciated, and where what you are giving feels so good to give, so that whatever happens, you don't feel any resentment around it, right? A lot of times, we wind up giving, and in that giving, afterwards feel kind of resentful for it. I've had that experience. Have you? No, I'm the only one here? But then there's these other times when I give from this place of true love and caring and wonder and fun. Fun being a real big word in my life. You know, I ran a suicide crisis hotline for 3 years. In fact, I started it. I created it, grew it to where we took 10,000 calls in 3 years. And it was fun for me. Now you're saying, how can taking calls from people who are suicidal be fun? Well, if you can't imagine it being fun, that's not the job for you. Find the one that is. I was with my dad as he took his last breaths, and I was telling my sister, actually, that was really fun being there for that for me. It wasn't for any of my other siblings. They all left the room. They couldn't be there for that. Now, this may sound crazy, that being fun? So, handling people who are suicidal fun? But for me, I love it. I love being there for people in that. So yes, but you got to find what's fun for you. This is where it would be really easy to buy into, oh my God, he finds that fun? You know, and judging yourself around what you find fun in the way you give to life. I'm bringing this stuff up because it's so easy for us to judge ourselves and to judge others in what they think is fun, what they think is their reason for being here, how they bring forth themselves. And what we really want is to be in that place where no matter what you bring forth, there is a place for you to do it. And a way for you to express it that will make your life shine. Absolutely shine. That is the magnificence of what we have going on here. That is what's possible through our teaching. You know, there are so many different layers of consciousness. We keep opening. Dr. Holmes talked about this all the time. How what we do is keep opening a next layer, like an artichoke, you know? The next year, the next layer, the next layer, just keep taking them off. And as they do, what we think is important continues to shift, continues to change. And that's okay. Whatever you think matters most today may not matter most to you tomorrow, or a week from now, or a month from now, or 10 years from now. And it's okay, because life is a changing, expanding thing. And when we are in that flow of expansion, when we allow ourselves to move and grow with what matters most, asking the question, keeping it conscious, keeping it present for us, then what happens in front of us, what unfolds in life, is just a miracle. Miracles do not happen when you just want to hold on to staying in the same place you are, not letting anything change because it feels comfy. When I was talking to my sister, I was talking about the freedom she now has to choose, and we talked about how uncomfortable freedom actually was for her. Maybe it is for you too. Maybe you stay where you are because it's uncomfortable to be free. But I encourage you to sit with that uncomfortability, to sit in the unknowing. There is something in the unknowing that will bring forth in you something you never knew you had. There is something in the unknowing that will allow you to bring forth something that had never even dawned on you. That's what's possible when we keep forth the question and don't hang on to the answer. Too many people are out to find answers. I am here to say the questions are way more important. And the question I put forth to you today is what matters most. Not to hang on to that answer, but to allow the question to guide so that it can keep growing, keep evolving, keep becoming something that is miraculous in what shows up in your life. It is through that evolution that we have the opportunity to rise to something we never knew was within us. That's what we have here. The possibility to rise to something we didn't even know was within us when we are willing to sit in the question. Sit in the question. What matters most? Don't get stuck on the answer. Let it keep shifting and changing. Let your life rise. It will. You are being lifted by the divine. You are being lifted by love. The love of whatever it is you are moved to express through life. Don't get caught in what it looks like by others. Look to it yourself, for yourself, and you will be the biggest gift to life that anyone has ever seen shine. Thank you. All right. Anybody like to ask something about that? Say something about that? This is your question and answer time. This is your chance to speak up. Speak to me. Somebody. Yeah. What is yours to do? Is it anybody's here to say anything about this at all? Yes. You got 1 minute.
Well, you said it all what I was going to say, because it is no accident that everything comes to us that we've just experienced. And last night I had that experience of what mattered most to me was that the artist, I won't mention her name because she's not here, that we all know her art is here, had a preview of a premiere of a movie that they've made about her and another artist. And so I was the designated person to bring her to it. And all of a sudden, after it was over, I realized this was a celebration for her and that this was really eating into my evening which was I wanted to give to her, but all of a sudden these voices came in and said, well, I had no idea that it was going to be this long. I didn't know that we were going to have to be, put up with all the people coming up and congratulating her and everything. And so, but I said to myself, what matters most? It was about her, and it was about her night and her celebration. So it was important for me to support her in that. Okay, I got through that one. Then I said, uh-oh, Abby doesn't know I'm going to be gone this late. And it has been quite a few hours. And so that came in. I started having a little bit of resentment for me offering to do good, and then my whole evening was interrupted. And then I brought in, well, Abby's going to be upset, and I'm not being responsible. So all of those things. So when you said, ask yourself the question, what matters most, was that my love for her mattered most, and that the question was then, the answer at a bigger level was for me to go deeper in love than to realize that there's more love to give than.
Nice. More love to give. There's no end to that well. The well of love, there is no end to that. That well does not run dry. Sure.
You spoke about if you want to do something charitable to help people, it's okay if it's something you love to do. For about 10 years, I cooked 2 gallons of soup for a recovery house for women. And it started because I used to stand in the kitchen making soup because I love to cook and watch old movies in the kitchen. So finally, I heard about the charity from a church I was at the time. And so I called them up and I said, do you guys want some soup? Because I keep putting it in the freezer and I don't even eat it. And so for 10 years, I cooked 2 gallons of soup for them. And when that came to an end, because the owner died, I realized I'm doing it again. I'm singing in a band. This is what I love to do. So it's okay to be happy about what you're giving.
That's right.
Okay.
It's okay to be happy about what you're giving. Yes. Well, we got time for one more. Anybody else? We got time for, Jeff. That's right. Thank you. Thank you for pointing that out. Being there for people in that way is, I'm made for that. And so that's, so I felt like what made it fun was I felt like I was being used in exactly the way I was brought into life to be used. And that's what made it fun. It wasn't that I didn't feel for the people who were needing empathy and were feeling pain. It's that I was built for it. I was built to be in that pain with them. And being that person who can do that is what made it like I was being used, in life. That's how I feel here. It's like I'm being used in life the way I came into life to be used. That's what makes it fun. When you feel that, when you feel like, oh my God, I'm being used the way I was built to be used. That's when it really feels fun. I love you all. Thank you. All right. All right, take out what you're going to give and hold it in your hand. Don't crumple it up. Open it up. It doesn't matter how little or the millions you're giving or the dollar you're giving. Or the diamonds. Whatever it is, don't crumple it up because this is power, this is presence, this is gift to life. What we give multiplies abundantly. This is how we get the law of circulation going. This is how we make our lives grow and evolve ourselves, is through what we give. So let's say our affirmation together. God is the source of all supply. Money is God in action. What we give, we receive multiplied abundantly. All that God is, I am. And so it is.